Hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Before we start, I wanted to clarify something that maybe will happen next month. As you have seen in my videos, there's no ads, there's no publicity of any kind, because I decided before we started this path that I didn't want to make money with these videos. So the first thing, I didn't want to make money with these videos. So that's why I didn't want to put any ads. And what else? And of course, that I didn't want to put any publicity, because any ads, because it bothers the people. So I don't want to cut what I'm explaining with videos in the middle, with ads in the middle, and even less to cut the alignment, of course. So so that's why you don't have anything here with ads. But I'm telling you now that next month you for sure will see ads, because YouTube had notified us today that by its new how do you say it, regulation, if it's new policy, they will add ads and publicity anyway. Okay, so even if we don't want to, they will put ads in our videos. So so I just let you know this, because maybe next month you will have some videos, some ads in the videos, but we will try to put our publicity instead of anything, whatever. So we will try to do that. Okay. But anyway, I will try for the content not to be cut in the middle, because I don't like that. Well, about this, of course, YouTube is a private company, it's not a state company, it's not a public system. So that's why they live through publicity, they live through ads. So we cannot say anything, because we are using their system. So it's normal. We could complain if it would be from the state, but it's a company and we are using its system. So so we have to adapt to their policies. So today, our topic for today is the excretory system. So today I have the complete right to send everyone to a shithole. To something like that. Let's say that you can go shit. So economy, politics, companies, YouTube, everyone, go shit yourself. So let's talk about the excretory system. So as you see, I love to say these bad words and to talk about poo and pee. because these eschatologic things, because usually we people, when we start to think about spirituality, we go to the heaven, we think in butterflies and all these kind of things. But actually, when we understand the spirit, we can know that it's not only that. It's not that the spirit is there in the beauty realm of light. The spirit is everywhere. And basically, the spirit is also in the excretory system, in the shadows, and to face the darkness that we have within. So we have to face it and speak about it, because it's a part of it. So let's speak about this, and also try to understand why we try not to speak about these kind of things when we are in the spiritual path. So first of all, let's understand that the excretory system is the one that helps us to basically keeping ourselves alive, because the excretory system is the one that helps us clean our entire organism. We have when we eat, when we absorb things, many of those things we don't need them in this moment, and we need to take them out of our body. So we have to let it go. We have to let it out from our system, so it doesn't poison us. So all the toxic things that we have inside must be out of our body. Okay. Perfecto. So basically, we have to be very thankful to the excretory system. So we will see the excretory system in three ways. One, which is the solid, the other one is the liquid, one is by sweating. So the first one, the solid, is the continuation of what we were speaking yesterday, the digestive system that goes through the large intestine. So it keeps going through the large intestine, and then it goes out through the anus. So that would be the solid. And then we have the other, which is the liquid, related to the kidneys. So we will see how the kidneys does it. And the other one, which is through the skin, which is eliminating toxins by sweating. So of course that then we have different other ways to excrete minerals and toxins from our body, but these other two are not precisely to eliminate, but mainly to help in the immune system, which are the mucus from the nose, and the tears from the tears from your eyes. So let's go into this. So just to know, let's go to the origin of the digestive system. So everyone needs to eat in order to take the energy to grab the molecules that the cells needs in order to exist, okay, in order to have energy. So we eat, but when we eat, all the things are together as one. They are all only one thing. So the digestive system, what it does is try to take and divide all the things from one another. They are only one. So they divide the things because maybe the system only needs this here, which is carbohydrates, and this other here, that are proteins. So from this entire structure, it will just need these two. So it will try to divide as much as possible all this construction, so then it can take the carbohydrates and the proteins, okay? So they go to the cells. But what happened? We have these other three. One that is liquid and the other ones that are solid. So they need to go out. They need to get out of the system because they are not needed in the system. So imagine that the green ones are the solid, and this one is the liquid. So the liquid is absorbed so fast by the system that it goes right into the blood. So that's why we need one system in charge of the solid and other system to clean up the blood. And there's where the kidneys come and evolve. So excretory system will try to eliminate those things that are not useful for us. One thing that for sure you have heard or have seen is that there are some animals, insects, that they eat their own poop and they drink their own pee. And why is this? Because most of the animals, they can smell and perceive very easily some hormones or some proteins and minerals that are needed and that were expelled by the body of others or oneself. So some animals, some beings, they are looking for these excrement, so they could eat it and have these proteins, these minerals, these things that the body had been releasing. And of course, when the urine, the pee, is very clean, it can also drain many hormones and many minerals that are useful for the body, even if it were filtrated by the kidneys. So that's why many animals are attracted to drink the urine. Okay, and some old traditions in human cultures, they also ate and drink their own excretions because they could take, for example, in desert territories, they could drink their own water and they could gain some minerals that they would lose if they just give it away. So this is why there were some traditions that used to eat again these excretions. So of course that we must say that it's not any poop or pee that you can take. In the nature, the food is natural, the water is pure. So for example, humans, we cannot do that today because we eat so many processed things that we have many toxics to give away. So in the past, this didn't happen because the water was pure from the mountains and the food was right natural from the fields. So the body was so pure that they could use it again because it doesn't have the toxins. It has hormones and things like that, like minerals, so they don't lose it in the body. Okay, if you want to do something like this, you will need like a month at least to purify the entire body, of course. Many of the mammals that used to live in between their own excrements, they started to see how many of the individuals got sick because of the excrement around, because eventually many of us started to eat many things, so we created much more toxins inside. So many of the beings that started to develop the smell, they started to recognize that these excrements were not that good for them to coexist with it in the same space. So our brain, not only the human brain, all mammals' brain, usually most of them started to evolve in some way in which we could smell bad the excrements. So it's not that it smells bad, it's that we evolve to smell it in a bad way. So our body could prevent us to even get closer to the excrements. Eventually, with the time, we started to feel that in order to protect ourselves from these toxic things, we not only started to smell bad those things that we believed they were toxic, but also we started to feel like disgust, like I don't like it, like you made like this with your face, like if something is smelling bad, and you immediately want to get away from that. So this is basically the immunological system that was designing in our brain a map to interpret where do we find the things that we think or feel are toxic for us. So it's a way of identifying the things that we don't really like. The things that we don't really have to eat, the toxic things. Okay, so this is how we in our culture evolved to say things like this smells bad or it doesn't taste good in emotional situations, in mind situations. Okay, like these things are not good enough for me, like a toxic relationship or some things like that. We use the codes of smell and taste. It's because of this old tradition of understanding what are the toxic things for my life, for my organism. So throughout thousands of years, what we have created was a culture tradition of just try to deny all the excrements and to throw them away and not to think about it. So this system, this created the tradition through thousands of years that the things that we don't like, that are bad for us, we have to leave it away. Like, I don't like this, so it can be bad for me, it's toxic, so you leave it away. So thousands of years ago, the waste that humans could produce from the inside, it was all natural, because whatever a human body could produce, in a very short time, it was used for the fungal realm, the vegetal realm, some insects and animals. In a short period, all this garbage would disappear. It was easily to dissolve. But as we started to evolve through time, what happened was that the garbage, the excretions that we did, took longer to be dissolved. And even today, creating things that they are almost impossible to dissolve, but we still do the same. Leave it behind, we keep going, we don't want to have anything in common with that. In our history, basically, if we took a banana we peel the banana and we throw away the cover of the banana. I don't know how to say it. So in 1 month, it would disappear. No more peel of banana. But because we are animals of costumes, we I don't know the word in English, sorry. Because we are animals that repeat once and again the same things. We started to do the same with plastic. So we open the plastic, we take the things and throw it away. Habits. Thank you. We are animals of habits. So we throw the plastic away. So so basically we are doing the same, but the plastic doesn't disappear. So some cultures didn't evolve as much to understand how terrible is that. Some cultures, they don't do it because they are bad people. They do it because it's a habit and they don't know how to interpret a new way. What we are doing today is basically to throw all our waste into the environment. And this is something natural because from the very beginning, every waste that nature produces is useful for other part of nature. So waste is not bad. Waste are good for the environment because they use it for new things. The problem is when the waste that you are producing is not useful for the environment. It's not useful for other beings. This is when these same things that we have thrown away are coming back to us. When we throw the plastic is coming back to us in a different way. And this is also happening in our inside. Imagine in emotions, all the things that you don't want to face, that you just throw away, that you say this smells bad, so I don't want to face it. Toxic relationships, emotions that you don't have, that you can't hold. You throw that all away, and like the plastic will come back. So the important thing about all these things that we just leave behind is that all the waste that we produce is only produced because we consume something for it to exist. So it's according to what we accepted in our life that we have these kind of things. So if something smells bad, it was because we produce it in that way. I don't know if you have noticed this, but usually the people that eat properly, they shit properly. Their shit doesn't smell. They don't even smell in the skin. The people that drinks only water all the time, the pee doesn't smell bad. One of the ways in which we can understand if what we are eating is healthy is how it smells when it comes out. This is why to pay attention to the eggs helps us to feel if we are healthy, to know if we are healthy. And now emotionally, we can face the same thing with emotions, with relations. If you see a person coming and still when you see that person, you do this face, it's because your body interprets that that person still smells bad. So this means that we are related still with that. The reason why it usually can smell bad, why our excrement can smell bad is because of methane. How do you say it in English? Methane is like that. And noble gas. This gas is the one that is produced in the separation of the molecules in what we eat. Methane. Thank you. So when the food is separated, when the structure of the molecules is separated, this gas emerges. So we are all producing gas, methane, all the time. Every time we eat and we do digestion, this gas emerges. So it's something helpful for the environment, but we have to know why this is helpful. So every animal must produce a little bit of this methane. And this is why we fart every day. And I know that there are people that can say, I never fart, but as I said in Spanish, for sure you're a party during the night while you sleep, because you have to. Otherwise, you're not human. You have to fart. It's natural. And so if you, for example, if you think about it, most of animals, all the animals, they release these kind of gases. And not only animals, but also the volcanoes, the permafrost. They encode methane and it's released. So that's why when you go to hot waters or to volcanoes, you will smell like fart. Maybe it's weird why a volcano can smell like fart, because they are the same components. So I once have heard that in Argentina, of course, we are a country that eats a lot of meat, and I've heard someone that said that the reason why we have to eat all these cows every year is because the cows are one of the biggest producers of methane gas in the world. So they had to kill these cows every year to take care of the greenhouse effect, which for me was amazing to hear, but so stupid at the same time. It was like, wow, great thing to say. That if it would be like that, we can think also that dinosaurs have died because of a fart. But anyway, so thing is, let's see it. So let's understand this, how it works, the greenhouse effect. We have to understand that greenhouse effect is not something But, and let me explain about this, because today we usually hear the greenhouse effect as something that is terrible, that we have to stop it. But it's not that, okay? It's not the greenhouse effect that kills us. It's what we are adding to it what kills us. So let's understand this. The reason why we have greenhouse effect is the reason why we are alive. All the noble gases that fill up the atmosphere, they catch up the light of the sun and keep it here on the troposphere, in the lower part of the atmosphere where we live. So all this heat is the one that keeps us alive. Otherwise, during the night in the planet, we would be always 80 degrees below 0 Celsius. So that would be very terrible, okay? So we have to understand that the greenhouse is what in the fields you would call this kind of house that you hold the tiny little plants during the winter so the heat can keep them alive. So imagine that that is happening in our planet every day. So we need these gases for it to keep us alive, okay, to keep the heat on the planet. What happened? That in some periods of time, naturally, the greenhouse effect grows because of volcanic eruptions, because of many things like the permafrost melting. These kind of things makes that all these gases goes back to the atmosphere and they increase the greenhouse effect that can kill us if we are sensitive to the heat. So it's not because of the cows, it's because of many other things, like we producing many gases in factories and all these kind of things that that makes this greenhouse effect to be worst. Okay. Okay. So of course that because of there are so many places that grow cows today, there is much more production of methane gas, but it's not the main reason. It's useful for the environment. Everything that we naturally use and we let go is useful for the environment. The problem is that we are not releasing that, being aware of how we release it, how much, from where, why. And this is what pollution comes from. Because we don't know how to use it, we don't know how to apply it properly, because we are not paying attention to it. That's why we have these problems. Physically, emotionally, and mentally. This is why we have to start to pay attention to all the things that we waste, that we throw away, that we usually don't pay attention to, that we hide. So this is why we have to start to think about that through thousands of years in this idea of, in this religious, cultural, spiritual idea that we have to go to the heavens, we started to think that all the waste is just for here. It's just something that we don't have to pay attention to. And that's why we cannot evolve, because we don't pay attention to how that is related with everything. So this is why we have to understand that all the waste that we produce is the one that nourish the environment we live in. So if we don't pay attention to what we are producing as a waste, that's what contaminates and creates pollution in our environment. And I am saying this in the 3 levels: in the physical production of waste, in the emotional production of waste, and the mental production of waste. Once said this, let's go to the alignment. The vibration for today is Q. The statement for today is, I am channel between creators.